Have you ever wondered what ship life is like on an American riverboat? That is, the day-to-day activities. What do you do on a riverboat? In part one, I talk mostly about dining, and in part two, I'm going to talk about entertainment. I'll also discuss traveling with mobility issues. Hi, I'm Sandy from Sandy Over 70. Welcome to my channel. I hope you'll subscribe if you haven't already. I have a feeling some of you will be unhappy with my review, but since I don't work for a travel agency or have any vested interest in whether you travel with American Cruise Line or not, I can be totally honest. And everything that I say is my opinion. You can certainly have your own opinion, and you should. But I'm just giving you another point of view. Every evening at 8:30 on the American Symphony, which is one of the American Cruise Line riverboats, there is entertainment. The entertainment takes place in the River Lounge, which is their largest meeting room. It's filled with comfortable sofas and chairs, and there is an area that to me looks like a dance floor. It's oval in shape, and it has either wood or a wood substitute on it. I got the impression that the cruise line and entertainers felt that this space was the space to spread out all of their equipment and to entertain from this area, leaving absolutely no space to dance. There was a darling couple on our cruise who loved to dance. They wanted to dance all evening. They weren't experts. They weren't ballroom dancers. They just wanted to have fun. And the very first night, they discovered that because of all the equipment on the dance floor, there was no room for them, one couple. So they moved to the side on the carpet near the windows. It wasn't ideal, but they made it work. After that, they gave up on that spot and they went to the very back of the room where the doors led out, and they danced back there. It was very crowded back there. I felt really bad for them. Now, my husband and I dance. We do ballroom dancing and other kinds of dancing, but we couldn't even see how to make a space on that dance floor, and no one else was dancing, so we really seldom danced. We did a couple times. Now, there is no stage, so there really is no place for the entertainers to stand or put their equipment except on this so-called dance floor. So what kind of entertainment was provided on this riverboat? Basically, every night, a man or two or three with a guitar played music. It was usually country music. Sometimes it was 60s, but it was designed to be listened to and not danced to without question. And thought that was kind of sad. There were people out there in that audience who wanted to dance. And I know this because the last performers were actually different, and they apparently had been told to move their drum set off the dance floor, and there was a certain amount of space to dance. This was a pianist who was playing boogie-woogie music. He brought his daughter on the drums and a guitar player. And I have to say, on the last night, this was the most enjoyable entertainment that they had. People did get up and dance, but again, the piano was in the middle of the dance floor, so there really wasn't any room. And at one point, a large group of people got up and danced in the corner next to the piano on the carpet. I just don't understand it. There was a resident entertainer on the ship, and he played his guitar during the cocktail hour, and he did many of the 8:30 performances singing and playing his guitar. And they also filled the slot with guest performers that they brought on from the various towns along the Tennessee River. But it was the same thing every night. Now, why was I disappointed? I think if you've never been on any other riverboat and this is all you know, you might think, well, that was very nice. But if you've seen entertainment on other riverboats, you'll know that they really didn't put any effort into providing quality entertainment. And why do I say that? I'm not comparing to big ships, because that's a completely other category where you have Broadway plays sometimes performed. No, I'm not comparing to big ships, but I am comparing to another riverboat company called American Queen Voyages. Unfortunately, they went out of business the past year. They had 4 ships. They were auctioned off, and American Cruise Line bought these ships. They've already scrapped 2 of them and are trying to donate the large flagship, which was the American Queen, to a city that may want to use it for other purposes. As far as I know, they've been unsuccessful at this point. Yes, that ship was twice as big as this one. It held 400 passengers, but it had a stage. It had a full live band, and it had 4 Broadway level entertainers, 2 men and 2 women, who danced, who sang, who wore fabulous costumes, and performed all of this in front of live musicians on a stage. And that's what I'm comparing it to. Now, in addition, on the American Queen, at the other end of the ship was a nightclub. And this nightclub had 2 musicians, a dance floor, and a bar. And it went till all hours of the night until the last passengers left. So there was truly entertainment on that ship. And that's what I'm comparing it to. Now, this is not the business plan of American Cruise Line. As I said, they don't have a stage. They don't want to provide that kind of entertainment. And yet, the cruises are quite expensive. You can pay upwards of $10,000 for a couple to do a 1-week cruise on American Cruise Line. And I think that's why my expectation is higher than a guitar player every night in the middle of the dance floor. Again, that's my opinion, and you may agree or not, but that is a disappointing part of the American Cruise Line cruises. In part 1, I was very complimentary on their food. I think you will enjoy that video if you are interested in hearing about the food. So what is there to do during the day? American Cruise Line advertises that it provides included excursions. And yes, they do, but generally they are not anything you'd really want to do. Occasionally I signed up for one. One of them was a horse and buggy ride in one of the small towns, but it got flooded out, so I actually didn't get to do that. But for the most part, I bought the premium excursions in the towns because they were much more interesting. But, you know, everyone has their own opinion on that. Most passengers are out and about when we're docked in a town, and of course that makes sense. You want to look around or take an excursion. However, for those people who want to stay on the ship, there are activities, and I'm going to tell you what they are. I'm going to read from my list so that you have an idea, if you're unable to walk or you just want to stay on the ship, what kind of things there are. On some river boats, there used to be what they called a riverlorian, and this was an expert on the rivers who gave lectures about things that you were sailing past or additional information. This ship doesn't call it a riverlorian, they call it a guest lecturer. And he did do lectures on the various places we were visiting. He also played guitar and was one of the guitarists for the evening entertainment. So what else goes on during the day? Let me read from my list. There's team trivia, bingo, a game that they play called 2 Truths and 1 Lie, where you fill out a form and you write down 2 true things about you and 1 lie, and then in the evening they pull these out and everyone tries to guess which is the lie. It's a get to know you type of exercise. They occasionally show a film on a local stop. They've played a Sudoku challenge. They had a sing-along one afternoon. They had a movie, Forrest Gump, because it fit in with the itinerary. They had a culinary demonstration on how to make pralines. They had a lecture on iconic foods of the South and talks on the Tennessee River. They played a game called Riddle Me This. So there were things to do. I can't remember doing any of these except attending a lecture on mussel shoals because we were going to be visiting that area. There are things to do if you're interested in these type of things. If I happened to be on the ship when we were sailing along, one of my favorite things to do was to sit on our really spacious balcony. It had a full-size table and 2 chairs, and the views were beautiful. Having a balcony on a riverboat is so much different than having one on a cruise ship. Generally on a cruise ship, all you see is water. But on a riverboat, you are right offshore of the cities, and there's so much more to see. I know I should be getting ready for dinner. This is so relaxing. I don't want to move. Ooh, beautiful breeze. Sun's still shining. It's almost 6 o'clock. Who could ask for anything more, right? There's no charge for Wi-Fi, and it comes and goes depending on where you are. But I was able to get my email fairly successfully, so I had no complaints about the Wi-Fi. Next, I want to talk about traveling with mobility issues. Or, if you think you're too old to take a river cruise, think again. Most of the passengers were in their 70s and 80s, and I wouldn't be surprised if some were in their 90s. As far as mobility issues, a large portion of the passengers had mobility issues. They were traveling with canes and scooters and walkers and all sorts of devices. And the staff is very eager to help anyone and everyone on and off the ship and onto the excursion buses. So this is the cruise line to look into if these are issues for you. I'm going to end with some little snippets of our many guitar playing entertainers. And at the end, my one favorite entertainer, the pianist who played Boogie Woogie. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, give me a thumbs up. Thanks so much. Have a great day.